All right, man, peace. So, brothers, when The Last Dance aired, it pretty much was broadcast to the entire world at the perfect time. Everybody was home, no one had anywhere to go, and everyone was looking for a respite from the constant barrage of negative news from the mainstream media outlets. So that's why that docuseries was like a breath of fresh air, was like a glass of cold water while walking through the desert. And many professional athletes sat down and watched it, and they were impacted by what they saw, whether they want to admit it or not. Some have come out and admitted it, one of them being Joel Embiid. Watching Michael Jordan's confrontational approach to dealing with his teammates is something that he tried to act as if he could relate to. We all know that he's had issues with some of his teammates, and that he enjoyed having Jimmy Butler on the team the previous year because Jimmy Butler got to play the bad guy role. He got to say and do many of the things to his Philadelphia 76er teammates that Embiid wanted to do and may just not have felt ready to do yet. Well, Embiid is on record as saying that he watched the Last Dance documentary and that he could see himself as a personality very similar to Michael Jordan's. So do not be surprised if you see many prominent NBA athletes start to go at their teammates more aggressively in practice and or even in the game, because believe me, many of these guys sat down and watched all 10 episodes and said, you know what, I'm going to add some of that into my playbook, into my repertoire. So we saw just a couple of days ago, Mr. Joel Embiid get into it with Shake Milton. I think that was a byproduct of The Last Dance. I call it the Last Dance effect. So, of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Get to the Sixers, though, because their new starting lineup is off to a little bit of a bumpy start. Philly had 8 turnovers in the first quarter, which led to a heated exchange between Joel Embiid and Shake Milton. Now, Embiid did go on to score 41 points, and he said later after the game, hey, teammates talk like this all the time. We were just working something out. But
I was just talking to Shake, letting him know do not inbound the ball like that. We in the bubble, throw me the fucking ball.
Did not win the game, Paul. Is this little sideline issue something, nothing, or everything?
It's nothing. At the end of the day, Joel Embiid is one of the top 10 players in the NBA. Shake Milton is still trying to find his place in the league, so he's not big enough to really question anything that Joel Embiid says to him, at least for right now.
It's everything. You know, I think the 76ers really lack leadership over there.
That's the issue. Joel Embiid is trying to declare himself as the leader of the squad.
You know, at times they look like world beaters, and other times they look like they can lose in the first round. And so...
but is that them or the coaching?
Everything to me.
You don't have to ask me, Rachel. You know how I feel about the 76ers.
Shake Milton went to the basket and Joel brushed him off. Look at this nigga.
The one thing that they have a problem with and that they struggle with is what? Chemistry. So right there, that's showing me there's chemistry problems. Joel Embiid, you have to be a better leader as a franchise player. You have to guide the young fella, not yell at him. He's going to make mistakes.
I agree. Michael Jordan tried not to yell too much at his teammates during the games. I mean, he did, but he tried to avoid a lot of the more quote-unquote disrespectful stuff and utilize those tactics more in practice. If you're going to be hard on your teammates, try to save it more for practice. In the game, I can understand it a bit if it's a very stressful situation. Right now, Joel is desperate, though, you could tell.
A new role for him. He's a starting role with 2 All-Stars. Talk to him. Pull him to the side. Don't embarrass him. This is everything to me because Philly is the last team that need to be dealing with these type of issues or having
And Shake Milton don't need to be trying to argue with his center back and forth while he's bringing the ball up. You save that shit for the huddle.
You know, little disputes on the sideline because they already have chemistry issues already.
It's going to be so...
Shake, don't walk up to me. Don't. I just want you to bring the ball up and run the fucking play.
To see if this team comes together in the bubble and being together all the time forces them to like each other more, or if it just splinters them apart. We will find out. All right, guys.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. Once again, brothers, watch out for that. You're going to see a lot more prominent NBA players trying to go back and forth and be more confrontational with their teammates. And beyond a shadow of a doubt in my mind, it's because of the influence of the Last Dance documentary. So peace.